We are back with Carlos and Kelly talking about the second leading cause of death among teens, suicide. And Kelly, I want to start with you because I just want to get this out there. We have some events in the public that are happening in the community. Do you mind mentioning what those are?
So we'll be doing a roundtable with different agencies in the community just discussing suicide prevention and just the increase of teen suicides in our valley, and just ways to educate on that and encourage families and encourage the community to step in and be there for our youth.
And in teen suicides, what is it most that you're seeing? What are parents saying, and what's going on?
Well, I think it's important to remember that with suicide, it's like a puzzle. And although some people might say, oh, he was bullied, or she broke up with her boyfriend and she decided to kill herself. And it's not usually that simple. I've never seen it that simple. It really is the puzzle. There might be some issues with substance abuse. There might be a boyfriend that broke up with somebody. There might be some bullying at school, but it's usually a bigger picture. There's a lot of different puzzles, a lot of different reasons why, unfortunately, adolescent decides to take his life. So we're really looking at that and not really blaming one particular issue.
Right. But as parents, I think it's hard. Well, sometimes we don't notice. We go through our day-to-day activities and have to get things done that we don't notice. But what should we be looking for then? Because are there signs?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I say definitely. However, especially in kids and the younger sets of kids, it's not as obvious, and so we have to be really tuned in to our kids to see these. But the usual thing is obviously feeling of hopelessness. Sometimes there's an intractable pain that not only emotional but also physical pain. When I was going through my depression, I physically hurt. It hurt. Yeah, the term heavy heart is perfect for it, because that's exactly what it felt like. It felt like a pressure. Withdrawing or feeling isolated. Being in a crowd but feeling alone is a great example. Showing rage is what we had talked about earlier. Decreased appetite, decreased sleep patterns, insomnia. So those sorts of things that we might tend to think that, oh yeah, this is just normal teenage behavior, being locked away in the room. It's time for us to knock on the door, just sit on the bed and open up a conversation. Now, when we notice the things that are happening, especially if there's a particular stressor and we're concerned about it, we need to really just open up and say it. Sometimes when kids are feeling like you are, they're thinking about killing themselves. Are you thinking about doing that? Yeah,
we should just come out and say that?
Come right out and say it.
Not say what's wrong, tell me.
Put it right out in the open, and then respond to that. Now the answer may be no, but then you can continue the conversation and digging a little bit deeper, especially if those kids if they've stated themselves, I'm just going to go kill myself. Sometimes people just think it's a flippant remark and pass it off. But it's important for us to latch onto those moments when, if a child or teen says that, we really need to jump on it and follow up with questioning.
And Kelly, how many people do you come and encounter with where they did say that, maybe someone didn't pay attention, and then they honestly did kill themselves?
Unfortunately, there are usually signs, kind of like what Carlos was saying. There's a change in behavior, but sometimes we have to remember that some people can present really well, and maybe they'll become busier, or maybe even more organized, and even a better student. And so it's hard to see the signs. So I've talked to survivors, especially parents, where they say, I didn't see anything, and I live with them, I went to school with them, they went to family dinners, and I've seen some really intact families, upper middle class, and their children have taken their lives by suicide. There hasn't been the avenue for them to speak out, and I'm not saying it's necessarily the parent. It could be anyone. It doesn't. I mean, ideally the parent would say, "How are you feeling? You look sad." But if the parents can't ask the question, then we hope the teacher, the principal, the pastor, whoever's in their life will say, "You look suicidal."
And hopefully, because a lot of times kids don't talk to they don't open up to us parents. So can we as parents say maybe to a counselor or someone at school, hey, can you ask my son if everything's okay? Maybe he'll talk to you, he won't talk to me. And when you do and you ask them if they need help, where do you take them for help? Is that where you both come in?
What we do is we refer to, first of all, the national hotline, the 1-800-273-TALK. That national hotline not only helps the person who may be feeling depressed, but it also helps people who are trying to help other people. So if I'm a friend of someone who I recognize as being in trouble, I can make that phone call and say, hey, I've got a friend, I don't know what to do, can you help me with what I need to do? There are resources here locally, and they're getting better. In the past, they were really horrendous, a lack of services, but now we're improving that now. We still have a ways to go. So the physician, a clergy, a counselor, and if it's imminent, 911, most definitely,
Right.
calling 911 to get some
It
help.
definitely takes a village. So parents, we want to remind you, Tuesday, September 13th, there's a roundtable to talk about teen suicide prevention. Please go attend that. And thank you both for being here. Very important
absolutely.
topic,
Thank you for having us.
life-saving. We
Yes.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having
So,
us.
Thank you,
All right,
guys.
thank you both.
Okay.
Stick around, everyone. Coming up on Central Valley today, it's that time of the year, time to get your flu vaccine. Hear what doctors are saying about this year's strain when we come back with our daily dose of medical news.